All right, this is lesson 77 for Saxon Math 5 Intermediate. What we're looking at today is converting units of weight and mass. So to start off with, in your textbook, you'll have a little chart at the very beginning of this lesson. It has all this information in it. So we have 16 ounces is equal to 1 pound, and 2,000 pounds is equal to 1 ton. Okay, that's the US customary system. We have the metric system over here, which is 1,000 milligrams equals 1 gram. 1,000 grams equals 1 kilogram. And again, if we remember, kilo actually means 1,000. So when you're looking at this, what you can actually say it as is 1,000 grams. Okay, and then 1,000 kilograms makes 1 ton. And yes, both of these are tons. This is just the metric ton. This is the US customary ton. All right, so when we're looking at this, what we're going to be doing is converting again. So we did this in a previous lesson with heights and lengths. Now we're doing it with weight and mass. So again, one of the easiest ways sometimes to look at it is if you're going from a smaller number to a bigger number, you're timesing. If you're going from a bigger number to a smaller number, you're dividing. So one of the questions is, if you have a large elephant, it's my awesomely drawn elephant. Okay, if you have a long elephant, an elephant is about 4 tons. Okay, if the elephant is about 4 tons, how many pounds is it? So I'm going to take this 4 tons and I'm going to convert it to pounds, which means I need to find my ton to pound, which is this one. So in 1 ton, there is 2,000 pounds. So again, there's a couple ways you can do this. I'm going from a smaller number, tons, to a bigger number, pounds, which means I am multiplying. So I could take 4 tons I could take 4 tons and multiply 2,000 pounds by 4 tons. And that will get me my answer in pounds. I can also, if this doesn't make sense for you and you're in the more of the drawing stage, you can break it into groups. Because again, what this says is 4 groups of 2,000 or 2,000 groups of 4. Well, of course, 4 groups is easier to draw. So if I did 4 groups, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, and I add them all together, I would get 2,000 plus 2,000 is 4,000. 2,000 plus 2,000 is 4,000. And I would get, in the end, 8,000. Third way to do it is to just count in twos. So you have 4 tons. I know 2,000 tons is in 1 ton. So I'm going to count 4 twos is 8, and then add all my zeros, which gives me 8,000. Okay, a lot of different ways you can do it. As long as you get 8,000 pounds in the end, doesn't matter, as long as you get 8,000 pounds in the end. You could also use a calculator for this if you'd like to, if the numbers are a little bit too big for you. Just remember, again, if you're going from a small number like tons to a big number, then you're going timesing. If I was going from pounds to tons, then I would be dividing. So these are some of the ways you can solve this problem. Next problem. Boyd has a watermelon. Hi, Boyd. Watermelon. I'm not going to try and draw any more of that because it's not going to look right. That is 6 kilograms. Ooh, wow. Okay, it's a 6 kilogram watermelon. Okay, it's asking you if his watermelon is 6 kilograms, how much is it in grams? How much does it weigh? Well, remember what I said is you can read this 1,000 grams. So if you can read this 1,000 grams, how would you read this one? You would read it 6,000 grams. Now, if you didn't remember that and you still needed to figure it out, again, you're going from a smaller number to a bigger number. So you're timesing. So you would take 1,000 and you would times it by 6. And that would get you, and again, you can use a calculator if it works better, but it would get you 6 times 0 is 0, 6 times 0 is 0, 6 times 0 is 0, 6 times 1 is 6. It would get you 6,000 grams. Ooh, my zeros are too big. There we go. Anton works at a sandwich shop and uses 2 ounces of cheese per sandwich. So Anton over here makes sandwiches, and each sandwich has 2 ounces of cheese. So if each sandwich has 2 ounces of cheese, if he makes 16 sandwiches, how many pounds of cheese is it? Again, 2 ways you can do this. 1, you need to figure out, if you're going to do it this way, you need to figure out, first of all, how many ounces of cheese are in 16 sandwiches. How I do that is I take 16 and I times it by 2, which gives me 32. I then take 32 and I divide it by 16 to get how many pounds. Because if you notice up here, 16 is going into the smaller number of pounds. And there's 16 ounces per pound. Because it's going bigger to smaller, I need to divide. So I would then come over here and divide. The nice thing about this is I now have this number family. Now this number family means that I can make 2 division questions out of this, as well as 2 multiplication questions out of this. So I could do 16 times 2 is 32, or I can do 2 times 16 is 32. I can also do 32 divided by 16 equals 2. And I can do it the opposite way as well. 32 divided by 2 equals 16. What this tells me is I can come over here to my pounds, and I can say if I'm now dividing 32 by 16 to find how many pounds I need, because again, 16 into 1 pound, then all I need to do is say, okay, well, that's just 2. It is 2 pounds. Another way to do this, if you saw the pattern right away, is 1 sandwich is 2 ounces. There are 16 sandwiches. Well, there's a 16 here and a 16 here. So that means if each sandwich had been 1 ounce, the answer would have been 1 pound, because there would have been 1 pound in 16 sandwiches, which would have made 16 ounces. 16 ounces is 1 pound. Because there's 2 ounces, I now know that's double, which tells me instead of having 1 pound, I'm going to have 2 pound. So your answer ends up being 2 pound. That is today's lesson. Again, remember, if you need to, because the numbers are getting quite big, you can use a calculator. There's no problem with that. But always remember, if you're going from a smaller number to a bigger number, you are dividing. If you're going from the bigger number, you're going from a smaller number to a bigger number, you are timesing. If you're going from a bigger number to a smaller number, you are dividing. Okay, divide smaller times bigger.